We are two of the biggest bulls in the industry. Today we're talking about Joby Aviation. We are two of the biggest bulls in the industry. Today we're talking about Joby Aviation, and we're going to talk about our bull case when it comes to Joby. This is not financial advice, but it is both mine and Reese's thoughts. This is why we invest in Joby. You may have seen our Archer video, but I think Joby's a big one to cover. Reese, we're talking Joby. What are we saying?
Well, I think first and foremost, they're one of the longest running members in the eVTOL industry. They started in 2009. Joe Ben is leading the charge on them, and he's up there with the Elon Musks. He's not getting the recognition at the moment, but I remember there was a clip that you had uploaded before where he was asking Elon Musk about these eVTOL engines and where he thought they were going to be in. And Elon Musk said that it was basically not possible. And look at us now. By the end of this year, we could actually have a fleet up and running. So I think Joe Ben, he's one of a kind. He's acting in two jobs at the moment as a CFO. I know we were given a bit of stick there the other night, but that's more to do with presentation and the way that he was sort of presenting what we think is an excellent product. Because at the moment, I think you have to see with the certification process that Joby are a lot further ahead than Archer. But PR-wise, you would think the opposite. What about you? How are you feeling about Joby at the moment?
Yeah, so Joby, look, they're leading the charge. No one can take that away from them. What are they? 30, 40% further ahead than Archer themselves. I think some people think we were hating on Joe Ben in the recent live stream. I want to apologize for how it came across, because I think it was just showing frustration because we believe in Joe Ben and we believe in Joby so much. We openly said before the earnings call that it wouldn't surprise me if Joby actually outperform Archer in this call.
Yeah.
Now, Joby themselves, yes, they've been around since 2009, but it feels like this last few years they've absolutely taken over. They're vertically integrated, which is one of their major advantages over the likes of Archer. I think.
Well, yeah, especially because that means that you don't have to be so reliant then on suppliers. And if there is any changes in costs, you can't be held over a barrel saying that you have to pay this, otherwise you can't build your aircraft. They'll be working all internally, so you can imagine they can drive down costs at each stage of production. And if they need to, they can probably streamline it. And because it's all internal, that should work out better than just buying it from a different supplier.
Well, that's the thing. Like with Trump's tariffs coming out, isn't it better that it's vertically integrated and it's all happening in the US? Imagine if your supplier was in the likes of China or somewhere like that, and you're getting not only banged with his 10% that he put on the tariffs, but he was increasing it by another 10%. So I think this vertically integrated approach is generational. However, they're not only producing their own thing, but they actually have flying S4s at the moment. They've said in this recent call they're going up to 5 now.
Yeah,
so
this is the 5th one.
They don't only have the flight data, but they're also attempting to do piloted flights at the moment too. This makes them miles ahead of the likes of Archer, who are more or less still in the infant stage.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, in terms of the design and development, I think that Joby have sort of left Archer in the dust, significantly further in stage 4 of the design. They've brought the actual aircrafts into manufacture, and they're onto their 5th one now. And Archer haven't even produced one. I also think that from the vibe that you get from the community, I don't know if Joby just think that they can let the actions do the talking. And to be honest, I think that's why me and you, when we were looking at it, we always thought Joby was probably the safer bet. They're slow. They've obviously, it's a bit more of a slow burn, but it seems more steady because they've been in the industry for so long. Whereas Archer sort of came in very hard and fast. I think that the slow, methodical approach that they're taking is going to be good in the long run. And the other thing is that they mentioned, so I do know it was discussed in the call, was about they've actually delivered 2 aircrafts to the Department of Defense. Yeah. So I know that they've obviously, Archer have got that contract with Anduril, and I'm pretty sure it has got an exclusivity agreement. But does that mean that there is still a window of opportunity for Joby? Yeah. We don't know. And the fact that they are mentioned in their earnings, they did mention about defense, and it makes it look like they're gearing up. And it'd be a typical Joby thing to not release any news and then just dump it on us. When it's been actually formalized, signed, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, they would be going, here you go, we've actually got the same deal as Archer.
Yeah. And
or
then
similar.
Another thing, like, I started looking at too is when Archer first came out with their Archer defense side of the business, I openly said, are they biting off more than they can chew? The one thing I cannot fault Joby for is they are going full steam ahead for certification. They plan to be operating by the end of this year, going into the start of next year. So then if we look at the likes of the Dubai plan, it's very similar to the Abu Dhabi project that's happening with Archer.
Yeah.
When it comes to the countries in the United Arab Emirates, I really don't think it really matters which one of these you're in. They're all heavily funded by the likes of oil. They're more or less happy to pay anything for the next generation technology. And what I think is so advantageous about Joby is the fact that they already have loads of flight data. They can more or less walk straight into this industry as soon as they have the aircraft for it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so one thing that I would say is quite interesting about the Dubai, so they're taking 2 different approaches. So the first approach, we're going to say with Archer, is that they're actually selling it to a Abu Dhabi Aviation. They're doing the vertiports, they're doing the servicing, and they're pretty much just selling them the aircraft. So they'll be just selling it and then letting them do the work. Whereas Joby seem to have taken an approach where they will, they're not going to be just selling it and then letting someone else do the work. They're going to go in, they're going to do absolutely everything. So they will have complete control on how everything and like the whole operation works. Yeah. And it makes me feel like they must be more confident in, number one, having the aircraft ready to go, and the fact that they have slightly more cash reserve, so they might be able to invest a little bit more in the infrastructure and making sure everything is working exactly how they need it. Because obviously they seem to like to keep everything in-house. They're vertically integrated approach. They don't want to be going out to subcontractors and subcontracting out, because that's when you lose quality. And Joby just, for me, it really feels like a company that is just trying to strive for the highest quality. They want to try and give the best service. And they're not going to be willing to come out here and say a load of PR just to try and spin it.
Yeah. And then another thing is, we've heard an awful lot about Cathy Wood being invested in Archer Aviation. Cathy Wood is also heavily invested in Joby Aviation. But why I think we hear a lot more about it with Archer Aviation is, I feel, and this is nothing against Archer Aviation investors, but I feel there's a lot more traders that are associated with Archer because it's so early on. And I feel like Joby are sort of able to weather the storm when it comes to not having the news out, but being able to get the product out and get it over the line. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the word on the street was that Cathy Wood was watching the Hustle Brothers, and then that's when she knew to invest into these companies. So, but that's just the word on the street. We can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah, like I heard that also. And guys, if you didn't hear it, make sure to bang that subscribe button. And if you want to see something very unusual, well, make sure to check out both myself and Reese's bear case on Joby Aviation.